Welcome to episode 6 of Towerhand Happy Hour. I'm Chad,
I'm Boone.
and today
We got Frank Frahm with us on today.
Frank Frahm with us today. Frank, what's
The
going on? How
infamous
you been?
Frank Frahm.
Doing fine, working.
Yeah, what are you doing?
MM Wave, USL. I don't know if I should say that, but
That's all right. That's all right.
That's fine.
Working for Elite Tower. So one of the things we wanted to not do is we're trying to be a little bit more diverse and feature a few people from different companies. So we're back to back with Elite because last week we had the company owner Jeff Lyon on here. This week we have Frank, but Frank, we've had a few people ask for you. Guys miss you. Guys have always respected you, and it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. You're doing well over the years.
They want to see the legend.
They want to see the
flesh.
legend. Why not? You know, why not? So, Frank, one of the questions I wanted to ask you. I know Boone knows, but we wanted to get out there and talk to reach the people we're wanting to reach. Is how many years have you been in this industry?
28, I think. 28, 29, somewhere in there. 27.
Wow.
It's a long time, Frank.
How many companies have you been with throughout your career? 28, 27 years.
3, but three companies with 6 different names to each.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of typical of the industry. We know.
You know, and that's something to be proud of, because you see guys now in the industry who have 5, 6, under 10 years in the industry, and they've been with 12, 50 cents more an hour. They're jumping ship. And so that's three companies with 6 different names, the same 3 companies. Dude, that's unheard of. That's like a unicorn.
It is.
It
It is.
I've seen so many resumes where a guy, I got 7 years, all this experience, this carrier, full build outs, stacking, microwave, plumbing tensions.
I'm one of those.
But then you see his resume. But then you see his resume. And it's January to April. This company doing this. Then he jumped from April to end of August with this company. Then maybe he spent 2 or 3 years at one company, and then he had a stint where he got out of the industry, went to some stupid job. Then he went to 5 different other tower companies. Now he's trying to come to you. And I'm like, geez Louise, man. And I always ask the question, so you're going to jump ship if someone tries to pay you 50 cents more an hour?
Not me. I was offered more than $10 an hour, and I stayed with the previous employer from Jeff.
Yeah. That's because you're a company man.
I always say it was we, or I was part of the company. I didn't say it was this company. It was we need this or we need that. It was never company based.
Yeah, you're a little guy, man.
So
Well, Frank,
Yeah.
so in your eyes, how has the industry changed? I mean, you've been here for 28, 29 years. Tell me, how's the industry changed?
well, there was no safety when I really started, other than like a lap belt, and now you got a full body harness. That's plus the regulations and whatever has changed drastically since '93. So some is better and some is not so good.
Were you upset when they took your lap belt and made you go full body?
Well, when it first came out they didn't have saddle seats in the full body harness.
Yeah.
And I made my own up using a tree climbing harness and a full body harness. And
Okay.
I got hit by OSHA, a $94,000 fine because it was they didn't
Modification of your harness.
Yep.
So Boone, I don't know if you've been in one of the full body harnesses before the Bozeman seats, but they're uncomfortable. They're really bad. You got it, the movement's better. They're a lot more free. They weigh a lot less, or they weigh a little bit less, but they're not easy. They're easy to work in. They're not they're not comfortable to continue working in.
Yeah,
I actually like the
I got,
tree. Oops, sorry, boom.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I actually enjoyed the tree climbing harnesses than I do the full body harness but that was, back in the day, it was free climbing,
Yeah,
which we didn't have that much depth. We had more depth in the industry when the federal government was, wanted on digital TV, and the TV broadcast companies would hire people that shouldn't have been on a 1,200 foot or 2,000 foot tower, that stuff
yeah,
caused a lot of death because of that.
Right.
yeah. I got
Trying
two.
to save a dime.
Yeah, I got 2 rope access harnesses, and if we go do like a simple job quick. Granted, the rope access harnesses, they have no seats, but they're so lightweight. I'll just hook onto those things and run up the tower quick, do a ring lamp, or
I worked
chain
with a
metal
guy.
radio quick.
I worked with a guy at a company that used one of those every day.
Yeah. OSHA does not require you to have a saddle in your harness. It's
Right.
not OSHA requirement. It's a comfort thing.
The harness weighed about 1.5 pounds.
Yeah, those rope
Yep.
access harness I have are just like one finger, just let's go.
Yeah, they're nice for the man lifts.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
It's when you transition to the tower that's questionable.
Yeah.
I probably had the first harness ever made with the bosun's chair in it. I took carpet padding and put it on a board. I put on there and put carpet padding and then duct taped it all up. I still have it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's we'll have to make a museum out of your stuff, Frank.
So I never asked this question to anybody that's had used those the tree harnesses or the lap belts, the waist belts back in the day. So how was it when you if you had an underswing on an antenna or underswing anything? Like, how was that, like having that balance of don't flip backwards on yourself because you're gonna flip out of it?
You try to put it on your butt. You always had bad back problems or hurt backs after the day, especially if you've been in the same lap belt for 14, 15 hours. You come down, your back is sore. You just deal with the pain. I grew up in the years that in football that we always no pain, no gain, and that's how I lived my life. I've got sore body parts all the time, but I just deal with it and keep moving on.
Yeah. So with all the extra standards and stuff that have been implemented throughout the your career, have you think they've been like a positive impact on this industry, or have they been like a negative? Like
most of it's been positive, other than like I was saying earlier that. Sorry about me itching, but
no.
When we started using wide lanyards and all that weight, guys weren't used to it. Plus, you're getting tangled up in this stuff. And the guys still do, especially when you get greenhorns. They start climbing and they start trying to use the monkey tails or wide lanyards, and they get tangled up in them.
So, I remember for me, like when the I know it's always been out there, but we never used to temp guy wire anything, changing out guy wires or anything like that. And then when that standard came out, that made me so mad, like trying to figure out a good fast way to, improve that standard or, keep the quickness or, the completion of the job, somewhat to what the time frame we were used to doing it at.
It's a fine balance trying to make money and keeping it safe out there.
Yeah,
you get some companies are pushing the crew leaders, to get it done, and the crew leaders like, I've got greenhorns here, and it takes a little bit more time, and you're trying to cut as much as you can, but still be safe, and still make a profit. Which
right, it's easy to cut corners.
And it seems like the pricing throughout, like over the years,
man,
from my first company I've owned to this company now, it seems like the pricing has just gone even more downhill. Obviously it's, it's the industry is more saturated with companies now too, but
Well,
hell, finding a plumbing tension crew that's actually, or a dish crew that's actually a microwave dish crew that can actually do everything. It seems like a lot of the Midwest guys are going down south or other regions of the United States just to do that work, because a lot of the crews down there don't know how to do it. They're all, 130 foot a day line antenna crews is, troubleshoot stuff. They have no idea.
I was just going to say, when you talk about money or how it fluctuates for price, when I first started, the first company I worked for, I was down in Atlanta, Georgia working, and I was getting paid $18,000 to $24,000 putting up either 2 dishes or 4 dishes. And when I first started with the second company, he was getting paid $13,000 to put up a 300-foot tower and 6 lines and 6 antennas. Yeah. And I had to show the owner of the second company, because he didn't believe me. I told him, I said, I was making the arrangements down in Atlanta, Georgia for the pricing. And I was going to 18,000 for 2 dishes and 2 lines, or 24,000 for 4 dishes and 4 lines. And he's like, no way. And I'm like, yes, I'm not lying. I brought in paperwork and showed him.
The nice part is a lot of the testing, except for troubleshooting, has gone away. We had that lull there where you're doing just as much testing as you were doing installation. It was hard to ever regain that money back, I think, for a lot of companies.
Yeah,
agree with that.
This brings up an old, from my first company I owned. I remember I got a bid, or I got asked to put a bid in for a tower stack. Put the bid in. I thought it was a solid bid. I figured I'm right there. I'm in the, the grasp of grabbing this thing. We had a good, good friendship with that client, and come to find out, I lost the bid. And me and him being mutual friends, I'm like, I know I lost it. Just give me an idea of how much I was out of the winning bid. He's like, dude, they underbid you by $37,000. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And I found out, I said, so I saw that change order thing in there. Did you make sure they know about that? Because there's no way in hell that they can even break even with what they put in for a bid. And sure shit, they started doing the work. And at the end of it, when they went to do the final billing, they had a change orders for like $39,500 or something like that. And I was like, there you go. But the change orders couldn't be more than how much percentage of whatever it was.
Well, the whole idea is to do it without having change orders. If you more often than not, unless there's some unforeseen deal, your CM should catch that. And a lot of places are going away from that now. You submit change orders, you're just not doing the work for them anymore. They'll tell you right away that you didn't do your job as on your site walks, or it was something that they had done, said that it was already previously walked, whatever it might be, but they don't want to pay those anymore. But so Frank, another question on my mind. How have the employees changed? We've had a lot of discussions over the years about this, and I want to hear what you think. How have the employees changed?
Well, back when I started in business, different generations. Like I was saying earlier, that back we worked for a living back a few years ago, and now it's more technology based kids coming out of high school. And so, which is a plus in some aspects, because they at least know how to use a computer. I had crew leaders and top hands that didn't know how to turn it on or don't even want to touch it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, as many guy wires as I've dragged around job sites, I'd have to watch that about twice to realize I never wanted to do that ever again. Oh man. Yeah.
So,
Now my second week in the industry was stacking with Frank, and I busted my ass. He made sure I was on top of things. If I was going slow, get your ass over there. We gotta go. What do you just
gotta
call
make money.
broke,
Gotta make money.
No, hold on. What do you call him, like broke dick or fucking newbie and whatever words that you have for the infamous
Anything
greenhorns.
came popped in my head.
Yeah, you always forgot their names, so you just gave them a nickname and said, all right,
Yep.
yeah,
Sure do.
yep. So what's your so with that being said, then the people you're seeing now coming into this industry, what's your ideal, no prior experience in this industry, what's your ideal green hand getting hired? Like, obviously, don't want them on your phone, don't want them on their phone all the time, because we see people, they're always down there on their phone. What's your ideal green? What's your ideal green hand?
I prefer military. It doesn't matter if he's been there 4 years or 2 years. He has more understanding of taking command or orders and doing them. You get greenhorns, or let's say, take me for example. If I got started a new company, even though I have all kinds of experience, there's guys in that company that's been there a few years, and they don't like me coming in and telling them what it should be done. So I don't know. A lot of people know who I am, and I can deal with it. Or Jeff, he didn't want me to climb anymore, but there's health reasons for that for me.
Yeah. Well, you've been in this industry long enough. You should be climbing anymore anyway. I've seen guys in this industry that have been there, 4 or 5 years, and they're crew leaders. Like, I'm a crew leader, I don't climb. I always hated that.
Yeah, I never
always
liked
had
that either.
I always had the respect for you. You were a crew leader, you helped train me, and it didn't matter if the job needed to get done and it was better for you to be up on the tower with everybody else. You belt up, or say, hey, you go to the ground, run the ground, and I'll go up there and help so-and-so or me or whoever get this done. I always had that aspect of the way the way I understood your mentality was, a crew leader's job is to get the job done as safely and as quickly as possible. So if you have to be on the tower, get your ass up there, and I've always lived that way. And, there's been plenty of times where, I've left the top hand on the ground and I went up, or me and the top hand went up on the tower, and the other two guys are just, just hoist bags up, clean the trailer. Let's get this finished up and get photos done, and let's get it done. And I learned that from you, and I've always respected that of you. But no matter what, you're still going up there if you have to.
Well, the last company I worked for, after everybody kind of abandoned ship, I was climbing the last 2 years almost every day.
Yeah.
Because
we had nobody.
Well, that and Todd, I won't mention his last name. He had more seniority, so I definitely would climb before I would make him, or have him climb. And then another gentleman named Chad, he had his bad back, so he didn't want to climb either. So I ended up climbing every day with them guys just to get the work done. But that was
how does a short guy have a bad back? I'm kidding, Chad. I'm just kidding.
So I've seen the guy in a harness once, and that was to come help rescue me. Actually, twice. The other time was he's like, I'll go up the tower. It was a relay up on a broadcast tower with the elevator.
Yep.
And the whole time he was going up with the other guy. I'm like, brake, elevator, brake, brake, elevator, brake, brake, elevator, brake.
Yeah.
Then you see his selfies, 2,000 feet today. I'm like, you didn't even climb anything. You want to climb to 135 feet, to the top? I know you didn't climb that mast because you made the other guy climb it.
Yeah. I can remember when Chad's first day on the job, we're doing broadcast park, and they had bat wings. He couldn't jump between the first set and the second set. It was over 6 foot.
You're reaching up trying to get the next one.
Yeah, you couldn't reach it.
So
Yeah.
your ideal green hand is preferably a military
Yep,
vet,
yep.
just because you want him to be able to follow orders, do them to a T.
Yeah,
You
yeah. And
know,
then once he picks it up, most of them will when you get to the job site, if it's if you're just doing lines and antennas for a while, and everybody knows what we're supposed to be doing. When I used to have Eric and Andy on my crew, we all got out of the crew. We had one greenhorn with us all the time, and we all knew our jobs, and everybody would go out and start breaking down, the job.
They knew what their
they
job
need to know what
task
to
would
do.
be for the day. Yeah, they didn't have to ask questions. You have to say,
No.
you do this, you do that, you do that. They already know what they're supposed to do, and they get it done.
Nowadays, you get kids and stuff doing the same thing I've got people here over a year, and they just sit in the truck looking at you like, what are we doing? And I'm like, we're doing the same thing. We're on the same project.
We just talked about the whole truck right here.
Yeah.
That's what got me. So we just talked about this whole truck right here.
Yep. And they just sit there. So I end up normally getting out and dropping the trailer and, getting things moving. After I get stuff prepped and ready to go, then they get out of their truck or get their harness on an hour later. And
Frank, I've seen you pissed off before.
oh, I've been pissed.
You need to start getting pissed off more.
I'm trying to get old and
tell those young bucks what's up. Say, get this shit done.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the one job title you never want to have in the industry? Like over your career, what's the one job title you never want to have again?
Safety director. It's
why?
Because a lot of trying to keep the crew leaders or everybody following the regulations, so the company doesn't get a huge fine. Like I said earlier, I've been through OSHA and had over a $90,000 fine. It was brought down a lot after being the first offense and everything else, but being the coordinator or safety director, you got you're worried about your job every day because people are trying to cut or get the jobs done. They kind of cut the edge or stand on the edge of the pest of being safe and doing the job to make and one well, I've in this industry I've already had two people in two different companies fall to their deaths, and it's not something I want to deal with ever again. And as a safety director, you're in that, as soon as something like that happens, you better have your ducks in a row. That's all.
The target's on you.
Well, and not to mention if they don't, you're talking about shutting your own crews down.
Yep.
So you've got a guy that you got to answer to on the other side of it saying, hey, Frank, why you're costing us $4,000 a day? You're shutting our crews down. I mean, can
I say something here?
Yeah, absolutely.
When the last company I worked for, when this gentleman fell, I told the director or vice president that he had to stop all work and bring the whole crews in, the whole company. And they told me no, they had deadlines. And I said, that ain't going to be right. You're going to have guys second guess themselves up there. You bring them in, let them have a couple of days off. And it took a little bit for that person to agree with me and finally bring them back. But he was going to let them keep working. I just didn't see I thought of more safety, get the guys back, because a lot of them had friends. That guy who fell, he had lots of friends in the company, and they would be second guessing their movements, and but
no, good call.
Yeah, I was so happy that the day he fell, I didn't have my phone on me. I turned it off and put it in the truck because I didn't know anything about anything until later on that night, after Chad finally got a hold of me. And thank God we got that tower down. It was a 450-foot self-supporter, like a 36-foot wide base. And we got it down, leaned over, all done. All we did is break it down and start loading stuff up for the trucks. But yeah, the next day our tailgate meeting was ridiculous and I questioned everything. So yeah, you're right. 100% right. I questioned everything. We stopped work about 4 hours later and I said, we're going home. We need 4 or 5 days just to chill, get our mind straight. Yeah, 100%.
So Frank, yeah, that was a tough time.
Yeah.
Still is tough. So
Every day.
before we wrap this up, Frank, I have one more question for you. And we got a few more minutes for this, but if you could give young Frank Frahm any advice, what would it be?
Stay in the military. Well, I've been for 20 years, because I've been in this one almost 30 years.
Yeah.
If I would have just done another 10 years in the military, I would have had still 20 years in this industry and still have a pension that I could
Full
rely on.
pension, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be, start doing 20 years in the military and then came out and did 20 years of this,
Yeah. No
How many more kids do you think you'd have? How many unknown kids do you think you'd have? You'd
Oh,
spend
come
10 years.
I don't know. I haven't been over there in a while.
Yeah.
You'd be like
Thailand, they don't
like
call it
Quagmire.
Bangkok for a reason.
No, I've been Bangkok.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the stories.
Get yourself a little Filipino.
Yep.
Well, Frank, this was excellent, man. I'm really, really glad to have you on, and I can't wait for this to air Monday. And I hope you keep
I want to bring him back on because I want to talk more about this job title of the safety coordinator. I want to have a little discussion with him, me and him.
There you go.
And obviously you can be involved too, Chad, but we need to talk about this. I want a guy that's been in that job title before. I want to sit down and discuss. So if you're okay with it, I want to bring you back on sooner or later.
Sure.
All right. Oh yeah.
All right, Boone, Frank, great seeing you guys.
Yeah.
Towerhand Happy Hour. We'll see you next Friday at 9 p.m.
Remember, like and subscribe. Tell us how we're doing.
Email.
Ciao,
Peace out, guys.
Rifiderci. I talked to you guys.